Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we're going to be shooting a long range with the Mathews Lift 33. We have the UV slider out to sight tape number 4 on it, so it's a pretty quick bow. We're able to get a pretty good distance out there with this bow. So we're going to be shooting out to 120 yards. I have been shooting, so we may just go ahead and jump back there and make this a real short video. Cut and dry, 120-yard groupings. Couple things I want to cover about shooting long range. There are a couple things you need to know. The mentality shouldn't change. Just think about aim small, miss small. Think about you're just shooting at a smaller target at 20 yards. That's all it is. Your arrow is just going to be flying different, but your shot setup and shot execution shouldn't change at all. Just think about at 120 yards, of course, the target is smaller. So just think that you're shooting at small target at 20 yards. So I'm shooting a UV 3-pin slider with the bottom pin being my floater. That means that my bottom pin is the one I'm using past 40 yards to get my longer range distances. With that being said, you need to make sure that when you're shooting out really far, you have clearance with your scope. A good way to do this is by taking an arrow, flipping it backwards in your sight, making the arrow go right through the D loop, and making sure your fletchings are not going to touch your scope. If they clear, that's all you need, and you're going to be good to shoot. If they don't clear and you still want to shoot that far, one thing you can do is flip your arrow upside down. Usually I shoot with a vein up. It may not be fully up. It might just be slightly up, turned slightly to the right or left. However, if you have an issue where you are going to be hitting your scope with your fletching, one thing you can do is turn your arrow upside down so one fletching is running straight down. Just make sure that your fletching is still going to clear your cable roller, because if not, that's going to end up pretty nasty. So another thing I would recommend, shoot at a big target. If you don't have a big target, use multiple different targets. I've been shooting quite a lot at 120 yards, so I'm just going to be using one target. However, if you haven't shot very far, one, definitely progress back. Don't just jump to 120. Go to 60, 70, 80, 90, all the way back to as far as you want to go. And then also another tip I would have is shoot at one target but have multiple targets around it. That way, just in case if you miss, your arrow is still going to be stuck in one of the other targets and you aren't going to lose an arrow. So, like I said, I'm going to be using one target because I'm pretty confident I can hit it. However, for beginners, if you're just getting into long range shooting, I would definitely recommend having a big area for air. That being said, I'm not even going to shoot at 90 or 100 yards. I'm going to jump straight back to 120 and we'll shoot from there. Okay, we're back to 120 yards now. And one thing I forgot to mention is that this bow is cranked up pretty heavy. It's just a little over 80 pounds, and you're going to need a lot of power when you're shooting out to 120 yards. Another thing to note is the arrows are just under 450 grains, so they're not super light, but they are on the lighter side, in which something that you will need is a light arrow to get that speed and carry far without having to aim crazily high where it's going to hit your scope and there's no way you can even get aim dead on with your pins. These arrows are moving a little over 310 feet per second, which allows me to get out to 120 yards. But other than that, we're going to start shooting, see what the groups look like. I actually just shot a round of 4 arrows here. I wasn't filming it, but at least I was able to get sighted in a little more. So we're going to shoot 4 arrows now, make it quick and simple. We'll see what the groupings look like. And make sure I'm filming this time. Awesome, we're filming this time. I think that was a tad bit left. We'll adjust for that. Awesome. That one was a great shot. That one felt pretty good. Maybe a touch left, but I am unsure where that one hit. Well, I just figured out my microphone wasn't on, so hopefully it was on when I was shooting at 120. However, walking up on these arrows now, they don't look bad at all. The group is honestly crazy for 120 yards, and I will take it any day. This one and this one are touching. This one just to the right, actually where I was aiming, center mass here. And then I have one just a little low. However, that's more like a 5-inch group to me, and I will take that group any day at 120 yards. If you think about it, 120 is actually 6 times the distance of 20, so if you shrink the groups down to a 6 is what you're going to be gripping them at 20 yards. Shooting 120 yards is a big challenge that a lot of YouTubers do. I know the TAC Archery Challenge, their truck you enter to win, you actually have to shoot a caribou at around 120 in order to get entered to win it. But it was definitely a milestone and kind of a goal to me to shoot at that distance. I had never done that before until today. However, let me know if we should push it back to 130 or even farther. I encourage anyone watching this to push their limits, get back there, shoot some long distance with your bow, sling some arrows. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you next time.